Greetings. Hello. Hi. I'm not back to making YouTube videos regularly or anything, so don't get too excited, but I wanted to make this video, and it's like 11:30 on a Monday, but I'm inspired right now, so I'm doing this right now. So I wanted to show you all my drawings from this year's Inktober. I worked with the official prompt list. Kiwi, can you shut up? I'm trying to film a video here. Yeah, I went with the official prompt list and I kind of struggled with that because I feel like a lot of the prompts this year weren't like super inspiring, and I have a friend who also did it in October this year who kind of felt the same, so we've been discussing maybe making our own prompt list or something for next year, but that's, way in the future. I want to show you my Inktober drawings, but that's a little bit difficult because I have this 3-year tradition now of doing Inktober in my journal, and obviously my journal, in addition to Inktober, contains all of my most private thoughts, so I had to do some kind of creative censorship so that I can actually show this to you without showing my entire, personal life and everything. And yeah, about the journal is that the paper, not meant for wet media, which you will be able to see based on how badly the paper has buckled. And then also, this is very small. I mean, I have small hands, so maybe this doesn't give you a great idea, but I have like a double 8 battery for scale. So you can see that this is not huge. So at times it was a little bit difficult to draw in here as well because it was so small. Anyway, in an attempt to not make this take all night, let's get started. Okay, so the prompt for the first day was poisonous, and I didn't have an idea at first, but then I thought up this thing that these are sort of poisonous thoughts or ideas that a person can have, and I'm actually kind of really happy with this concept, and I do also really like how the drawing turned out, and it's a little bit sad because I feel like this is the best drawing I did all month, and it was on the first day of Inktober, so the learning curve was kind of a negative one, I guess. I don't know, it kind of went up and down. Day 2, I did this one on a lecture. The prompt was tranquil, and I thought of water immediately. And then I also thought of Japan. I used to live in Japan. And then I thought of my parents' summer house, which isn't as fancy as it sounds. It's very common in Finland for people to have a place in the middle of the forest to go to during the summer. Anyway, this is kind of like a water fountain thing that my dad sort of DIY'd. And it's got these ceramic balls in it that we brought over from Japan, so it kind of combined all of my different mental images of the word tranquil. Day 3 was roasted, and I'm not going to talk about this one because there's a whole video about it. If I can remember while I'm uploading this, I will add a link to that video in the card. This one is also one of my personal favorites from this year's Inktober. The prompt was spell, and I sort of did this summoning thing, and if you remember that really weird video I made with the bird drawing, this is basically based around that same concept, and I just still don't really know how to adequately explain what's going on here, but I enjoyed it personally, and I do think that it, visually is quite nice. I like the composition. This is another inside joke. Basically, we had some mishaps cooking with some friends, and I sort of made a dramatic depiction of it, and I actually do really want to recreate this. Kiwi, please! I want to recreate this, first of all, in color, and then, in a bigger size, so I can do the details better. Because, this page is pretty tiny, so I couldn't get very much detail in the faces or anything. And maybe I could even, turn it into a comic and add, a couple of other panels from the situation. I don't know. But my friends were very amused, so that's, mission accomplished. This is definitely my least favorite drawing I did this Inktober. I just the prompt drooling was not like inspiring to me at all, and I just like drew the first thing that I could think of, which is this like sort of feline half dead monster thing, because you know I'm always feeling spooky during Inktober, but I don't know, the concept doesn't work and the execution doesn't work, and it's just like blah. This one, on the other hand, I do quite like. The prompt was exhausted, and I had a mental image of like a dad with a baby just being like happy but like completely worn out taking care of this baby, and I just like searched on Google for dad with baby or something, and then found a reference that fit what I was thinking, and then I changed, I think, at least the face of the dad a little bit to fit what I was thinking a little bit more, but other than that I pretty much just copied the reference. But I think it's pretty cute, and I used a dip pen for this, which I'm not like super proficient at, so I think it came out quite nicely. Also, one that I like, the prompt was Star, and I wanted to draw Hal from Hal's Moving Castle, and the scene where he catches the falling star, and I debated for a long time if I wanted to do the movie version or the book version, and then I settled on doing sort of the composition and the pose is from the movie, but then I drew Hal as a grown-up because that's like what happened in the book, like he was a grown-up, or at least like a young adult when this scene happened in the book. Yeah. But I like how this turned out as well. I kind of do wish that the paper, again, was a little bit bigger. I feel like it might work better. This one, I've heard from multiple people that they really like this one. The prompt was Precious, and this is actually my idea for this. Well, I was thinking, like, what's the most precious thing? And I was like, well, the earth, like, it's the one thing that we can't replace. And then I thought of this song. My aunt and uncle, my mom's sister and my mom's brother, they used to make these CDs for me and my cousins when we were little, with, like, different cover songs. And there's this song on one of them where there's a story about how when the Earth was just born, the moon was much bigger, and then the moon was sort of tasked with taking care of the Earth, which was like the moon's sister. And so that's kind of what I was inspired by when I drew this. I don't know that I like this drawing very much, but I've heard other people like it, so I guess that's nice. This is another one that I drew on a lecture. You can tell because, like, the ones that only have, like, cross-hatching or just, like, hatching as shading are usually the ones that I drew on a lecture because I can't, like, bring, like, ink wash onto a lecture. So, yeah. I do kind of like this one, though. This character is just something that I thought of in my brain. It's not, like, a specific character or anything, but I wanted to do this, like, flowing cloak. And I actually, like, referenced wedding dresses or something. I don't know, but I think it's cool. Yeah, obviously the prompt was flowing. I need to keep saying those. This is also one of my favorites. The prompt was Cruel. And I think I made a video about this as well. Yeah, I did. I made a video of me coloring this in, so I won't talk about this more. I'll just put that video in the card as well, if I can remember to do so. That's 3 videos now that I need to make a card for. Take notes futurely. This one is sort of my family as whales. Me and my brother and my parents, basically our last name has the word whale in it, so we kind of call ourselves whales sometimes, and I just asked all my family members which type of whale they wanted to be. So I'm the narwhal, my brother's the humpback whale, then my dad's the orca, and my mom's the, a sperm whale. I think it's a sperm whale. Anyway, this is not, like, artistically great, but I think it's kind of cute. I feel like I keep saying this, but I also really like this one. This is Discworld fan art. The prompt was Guarded, and I drew Sam Vimes, who is my favorite character of all time. And then I had this thing where his shadow is sort of The Guarding Dark. If you've read Thud, you know what I mean. If you haven't, then you should, because that's my favorite book and it's great. The prompt for this one was clock, and I was over at my friend's house and I was like, I cannot think of anything to draw for this prompt. And then my delightful friend was like, what about clockwork? Which is a character, this like flying bird monster thing, from the Sly Cooper games. And I was like, yes, thank you, perfect. I love those games, and also that's like something to draw. And so then I drew that. And I like how this turned out as well. And you can't really tell, but I actually accidentally drew like a line here. Along the bottom, even though I was supposed to make like the silhouette just white, and so I used a gel pen to cover that up, and you can like you definitely can't tell when you scan it, and you can barely tell in real life if you're not looking for it. Got a little angsty with this one. The prompt was weak, and I was just like, I basically wrote down all kind of things that I'm concerned about or worried about or that are like on my mind, and just like drew these as a sort of like moment of weakness. Like there's a lot of stuff happening in a person's life, and sometimes you just feel like you aren't strong enough to carry all of it. Yeah, as I said, I got a little angsty. This prompt was angular. And again, not one that I felt very inspired by, but I just thought I'd draw like a picture frame and then like a person with a very angular face and sort of angular decorations on their outfit. And this actually, I think, turned out looking like Lucretia from the Adventure Zone, which I didn't intend, but then when it started looking like Lucretia, then I sort of rolled with it. And so it can be interpreted as a drawing of Lucretia, is what I'm saying, I guess. I really need to speed this up. Day 17 was swollen, and again, not a prompt that I was particularly inspired by, but then I thought of the, what's it called? No Face. I think it's called No Face, from Spirited Away, and so I just drew that. And I'm not sure that I agree with how I did the shading in this one. I feel like I should have used an ink wash rather than this like scratchy hatching, but it is what it is. Okay, so this prompt was bottle, and I was inspired for this one by a hobby I have, which is a type of kung fu. And basically we use this medicine. Did I make a video about this? I feel like I made a video about this. I feel like I've talked about this before. I don't know. Anyway, we use this medicine to sort of massage injuries, and then it comes in these little bottles, so I did kind of a character doing kung fu that's kind of like made out of the liquid from the bottle. I really feel like I made a video about this. Maybe that's card number 4, who knows. Okay, day 19 was scorched, and just, scorched earth, dry, cracked mud, skull in the desert. Nothing much to say about that. I don't do a lot of landscapes, so this is like as good as it gets with my landscapes. And it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. So yeah, whatever. Sorry, I think I'm getting the flu. Anyway, this one I did in my friend's parents' basement because I was staying with my friends at his parents' house over a weekend, and so I just had to whip up something really quick for this Inktober. The prompt was breakable, and I just again went the full edgelord route and drew this character who's sort of like trying to hold themselves together, I guess. I say that this is like edgelordy, and I act kind of dismissive, but I do actually genuinely really like this one because I am also an edgelord, I guess. Anyway, and this was the day when I came back from my weekend trip, and I was so tired, and I swear to God I was asleep when I drew this. The prompt was drain, again not one of the most inspiring ones, and I just drew this like weird monster thing coming out of a drain, I guess, and I don't really have any memory of drawing this because as I said, I swear I was asleep when I did this. It's not the best quality, but for someone who was asleep, I think it's pretty good. Oh my god, this one. Okay, so the prompt was expensive, and I wanted to draw this like person who has very expensive taste, and I had a really good sketch that I really liked, and then I started inking it, and then I started shading it with hatching, and I totally ruined it, and now I hate it, so moving on. More Discworld fan art, also a scene from Thud, which again is my favorite book. There was basically a scene where Sally and Angwa, I've never tried to say her name out loud before, I don't think. That's weird. At least not in English. Anyway, they are a werewolf and a vampire, and then they were like in their animal forms, and then they got stuck in this like cellar that was like muddy and stuff, and then they had to like break themselves out of there, and then they had to turn back into human form, and they do not retain their clothes when they do that, so then they ended up in this basement like completely covered in mud and then completely naked and like not at all happy about it. So that's the scene that is describing, I guess. Yeah, I guess I should say that I also like this one because I feel like I very rarely draw things with multiple characters, and it's always a little bit difficult to get the like scale right and everything, so I think that was like something that I had moderate success in with this one. Okay, so this one, the prompt was Chop, and this is like fan art of my own book that I'm writing, so I guess just art, if I don't count as a fan if I'm the author, I don't know. But basically I was drawing a person who executed a person and then the person that they executed. And I had this idea of making it like a playing card so that it has like two sides. Let me just flip that over for you, even though it looks better from the other side. Yeah, that's basically it. I don't know why, but like people didn't really respond to this one, even though I was like very proud of myself for like being able to make this, because of the whole like two-sided upside down thing was kind of hard, and I don't know. I was happy with it. This one was Prickly, and I wanted to draw a cactus, and then I was looking up pictures of cacti, and I realized that cacti are really weird and also really big, and so then I drew this like really big cactus with this like little kid in it and this vulture, and I just like imagined that they're sort of friends and they live in the desert and they have this favorite cactus that I hang out in. So yeah, that's what I was thinking with that one. This is Kiwi, who is now being a good boy and eating his food and not like running around and screaming while I'm trying to film a video. Prompt was Stretch, and I just took this picture that I had of like Kiwi really stretching out on my desk chair, and then I just drew that. As simple as that, really. It was kind of hard because he has like white patches and then gray patches and then black patches to sort of get the coloring right, just with like hatching and without, again, I don't know why I didn't use an ink wash for this. Maybe I was just tired of using ink wash for everything. Another of my not so great landscapes. This is again a scene from the book that I'm writing, and the prompt was Thunder, and basically this castle that's like silhouetted on up here is called Thunder Keep, so that's why I chose to draw that for this particular prompt, and then also, you know, added the lightning in the sky to be like really obvious about it. Getting to the end now. The prompt for this one was Gift, and this is another one that I really struggled with, but then I came up with the idea of drawing Matilda from the Roald Dahl children's book, and because, you know, she's a gifted child in that she can read from a very young age, which then she's also gifted in the sense that she can do sort of supernatural stuff. So I sort of drew her floating in the air, making all of these like writing utensils and books float with her. Then day 30, the prompt was Jolt, and I wasn't inspired by that, and then I had just like binged watched the 10th season of Doctor Who, and I wanted to draw the Tardis, so I was just like, whatever, I'm just gonna draw the Tardis, and I drew it in this sort of like asteroid field to sort of make it sort of relate to the prompt, in that I feel like these asteroids would sort of be jolting it around, I guess. I accidentally drew the lines like through. I inked the Tardis first, and then I accidentally also inked these lines that are overlapping the asteroid, so I just had to like slap a bunch of black on there to try to cover it up. And I don't think you can tell if you don't know to look for it, but if you do know how to look for it, you can tell, and now I've just told you, so I don't know why I did that. Anyway, final day. Obviously, made it a total meme. Actually, I just asked my friends if I should make the last day something artistic or something memey, and they told me to do both, so I tried my best. Basically, there's this meme of this Finnish politician. It's sort of an edit of a speech that he made, where I've never seen the original speech, so I'm not sure what he's actually talking about, but, there's a joke in there about a cheese cutter, and he does this motion with his hand that, like, could be, like, interpreted as, like, cutting cheese with a cheese cutter. And so what I'm trying to depict here is that there's this block of cheese that's shaped like Finland, and then he's, like, cheese cutting money off of it, because, you know, kind of a, the kind of, right-wing, I guess, politician who does not care a lot if the people who don't have a lot of money have a lot of money, and who cares more about giving companies money, I guess. That's a little oversimplifying, I guess, but anyway, that's the explanation of this super weird drawing. That was the last day of Inktober. Okay, I've talked for like 20 minutes, and it's gonna take me a year to upload this video, and Kiwi's lying on top of all the stuff on my desk and batting around my brushes and stuff, so I think that's a sign that I need to go. Thanks for watching this video and listening to me ramble about my Inktober drawings, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you whenever I next get a random impulse to make a YouTube video, I guess. Goodbye.